Hi, welcome to the stream. Yay. So today I wanted to work on Quickshell. What is Quickshell? Well, oh, already. Hi, and thanks for the subscriber. Hi. So yeah, I wanted to work on Quickshell. What is Quickshell? Well, Quickshell is a little utility you can use on Linux that helps you make this type of desktop environment. And I find that so fucking sexy, as you can see. That's extremely sexy to me. So I want to do that because my system is cool. That's not to say, like, it's pretty cool. I like it, but it could be more fancier, and I really want to customize that shit up. So, you know, we're gonna do that. Look at that! Look at how fucking slick it is. I love it.
The YouTube show right now, and this is your Fire YouTube channel, and I was really adored by.
That's really nice. Thank you. That's actually my first short, but thank you. So yeah, see how incredible it is. Like, you can have the notifications, you can have the workspace, you have also color palette. It's so cool. I love it. I want that. I fucking want that. I like this is another configuration, this one. So here we have LLM stuff that I don't really care about, but all the rest, that's so fucking cool. I want that. Oh, you can't install that. Like, Quickshell is not installable. That's the trick. You can't install it. What you need to do is you need to build your own configuration on it. You can use other people's configuration, but it's a framework to build it. And that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna build a configuration for my computer here. I'm just gonna try to do that. Thing is, first, I know nothing about QML. So I was, you know, reading that just before the stream started, first and foremost. So yeah, that's already a thing. That's gonna be an issue. I know things about C++ and JavaScript, of course. I work a lot on JavaScript to my displeasure, but yeah. But I don't know anything about QML. No, Qt, that's the name of the framework behind that. And you say that Qt and not Qt, but yeah. And I have no fucking idea how you do that, but there are tutorials, there are stuff, so we're gonna try to build it. I have already a development environment that works for Quickshell. I have already something here. If I do that, as you can see, I have a clock that spawns and refreshes every second in the middle. That's the bare minimum. Really simple, nothing complicated. But it's really good. It helps me actually understand what the fuck I'm doing. So, as you can see, we have that there. First thing though, there are some problems with the LSP. That's normal. That's in the documentation. It's a new stuff. Quickshell is pretty young. So, panel window is not creatable. It is. I don't know why QMLLS doesn't like that. And so, can't access also the root because, yeah. But it doesn't change anything. If I set the pragma component near the bound, it actually makes an issue with Quickshell. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So today, we're gonna try to do that. We're gonna try to make something. I want something similar to the first one by Soramane that you can see here. So I think, looking at that, I won't have the same thing. Of course, I have other needs on what I'm trying to do. But looking at that, the first thing I want to do is actually having this little border around so like this little border. I like it. I don't know, but I like it. Which means being able to actually create that surface really small, have it with the border and stuff, and on every screen. That's the first thing I want to do. So, I've been reading that before the stream, of course, just to have the information that I need. Specifically speaking, here, reusable components that you can use to make the thing work on every screen. You don't see it, but if I do... Hold on, I'm just gonna do that so it's easier. If I do that, it spawns on all my screens. So, yeah. And if I plug another screen, it will spawn as well, which is what you want with something like that. For example, a bar, a status bar, you want that to be, you know, everywhere. But yeah, so that's the very thing we want. So multiple files, we know we're okay with that. the scope. Any human file aside with an object losing. Yeah, okay. So now you can import the thing. What I want to see is for the clock, because we have widgets already in Quickshell, which is good. I don't have to actually reinvent the wheel on some stuff. Like, yeah, so we have the singleton for that. Scope bar model, no clock widget, okay. Quickshell supports library, so yeah. Something like that. So I can actually make a clock, for example, like that. But means I need to actually define a singleton. So yeah, just checking what it means. Oh, not more what it means, but how you do it, more specifically. We can make a time a singleton object has only one instance. No more, it's a singleton. Forward string dot date proc. Okay, so that's the process of the date, which is this one. Date true, but we don't want that. Okay, so you have that, and then the way you import it, we no longer need the time, just need the text, which is time, and time being the name of the singleton that you can. Okay, you have access. Okay, you have it globally. Oh, that's cool. I think access globally is actually interesting. So if this is my entry point of the shell, because as you can see, because it's called a shell, which is not confusing at all, because this, where I'm working here, is also called a shell, but you know, I guess people are not all good at naming. If you check that, so I have the scope here, I have my processor, I have my timer and stuff. I could move that to a singleton, and I think the first thing I want is actually, yes, having a singleton for that. So we're gonna create a module on SRC. Actually, I want an SRC, and then we're gonna have a module here, or maybe singleton. So all of those are the same position. Yeah, no, Linux is fine, but yeah, you have to spend some time actually learning. Also, not that what I'm doing here is the most fucking level of nerdiness that you can see, okay? It's a spectrum. You can do exactly what I'm doing, so doing all of that really specific customization. Okay, so perfect. I'm just gonna say that for the sake of the stream then. You can do a lot of own customization, but you can also just take the first distribution that works for everyone, you install it, and it works out of the box. Just for the sake of the stream, so people can actually fucking clip that, and I don't have to say it again. But, as a singleton, so we want the time with a T, yeah, like that, majuscule, capital. Pesky French coming in, but yeah. So first we want a pragma, that's interesting. Pragma singleton, so I suppose you need the pragma to define a singleton, which makes sense. I want my Quickshell. I don't want IO, I think. I need quick. Expecting me later, okay, singleton. So you are not being annoying. So I can have that. Can I have multiple IDs named the same, or is that like the same in HTML where only an ID, like an ID is unique? I guess we'll try. So read only property my P. Property string time, so that's important. It's cool that you can define read only properties. I like that. You can format date times. Can I have... Oh, I don't have auto completion on that. That's sad. Clock the date and clock being the system clock that we're gonna define. Interestingly, for the moment, let's just do it in a way that is like that. Simple. Because, yeah, okay. I like to be able to pass a function on that, so I can change the format of the date. I wonder if it's possible. I need to check. Otherwise, I'll make two singleton, but I think it's bad. So system clock that we know that we love, which is our clock, and the precision, which is system. Oh yes, since I have a precision, then I want the minutes though. But since I have a precision, Whoa. Okay. What? Oh, hold on. I'm just gonna save that just to be sure. Okay, that was weird. But I guess... Okay. Okay, fine. I don't know what happened, but whatever. So, okay, we have that. Is it now possible for me? I might move shell.qml in SLC. Just so it's tied here. And now, so I don't need to have the process and stuff here because I don't need to use the process here, system clock. So all of that can be removed. I have unqualified access to root. How does it access it in the bar? Just so I check. Clock widget, which is the clock. Because you define the clock widget, which is just, yeah, just text time. I'm sure there is already a widget, honestly, that exists, but it's for the sake of learning. Implicit 8, okay, so encode main parent, okay, and just time, because I just access it like that, so I could just have a text. Don't need anything else, I could just have a text, which would be, yeah, and I need to import it though. Do I? Unqualified access to time. I have time, right? Yes, I think I need to import it. That makes more sense if it's not there. Can I do the import like that, like modules, and the name is, oh no, singletons actually. Singletons, and then I want time. But there is no time, so there is no time in my time. Oh, and there is actually. There is a property that is time. So this is interesting. You know what? I'm gonna say it's a quirk, and we're just gonna try that. It's in SLC now. No, time is not defined. So okay. So that's the first thing we will need to fix, I think. Because we have that, the panel window, then we have the text with the time, so it's okay with, I'm okay with that. But then, why can't you find the time? It's a read-only property that I give you here. And clock.date, which is a system clock. Okay. Quickshell Qt quick. So we have that, but they're not. Property string time, I have that there. Read only property string time, which is defined by that. The Qt format because you do something. Oh, okay. It's a okay. It's a modification. Okay, that makes sense. But now I have the time. So if you can't find, and if I do that, for example, does that do something? Member time is not found on time. Okay, sure. So there is a property name. Okay, this is funny because if I do that, property time as type read only QString. So I have it. Like, you're telling me you can't find it. It's not declared as a singleton in QMLD, but using pragma singleton import. So I don't need to import it then. Oh, that's maybe why. No. Time is not defined. So if I import it, it doesn't work. But if I don't import it, it doesn't work either. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Singletons. Let's just try again. Let's import. Simple. And now let's do a quick shell. Time is not defined. So even like that, I can't seem to find it. So that's interesting. Also, let's just be smart and do it there and move there, I think. But yeah. Yeah. Time it not the class singleton is QMLD, but using promo singleton. Maybe I missed a thing for the singleton. A singleton, okay. Maybe I missed something with that. I think there is more. Maybe the documentation is not exact. Quickshell, I suppose. Singleton. Nice. Nice. I like this. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's really that's useful, I guess. Yeah. Okay. They all should inherit from that. That's cool. That's the point. But yeah. Oh. If I click on that, I have more info. Cool. But then creating type singleton, amazing into singleton, meaning there is only one of the type. To make a type of singleton, you put pragma singleton on top of the file to ensure it behaves correctly with Quickshell. You should also make the singleton the root item of your type. Once type is singleton, its member can be accessed by name from neighboring files. From neighboring files. Okay, that explains it. Can I do an import as time or doesn't seem to be? I'm gonna try. Also, I can do it there. Works as well. Okay, so no. So we need to do it in the same QML there, or did I change? Oh, I know why. I might know why. And then it's loaded, but okay. But then can you be not annoying? Apparently not. So if it's alongside the file, it works, but if it's outside the file, it doesn't work. That's what I'm giving. That's annoying though. Hi, welcome to the stream. That's annoying. Let's try that again. I want to remove the import, and now I want to try again. So that works when they are next to each other. Oh, that's gonna be such a nightmare to arrange those then. What are you doing today? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm trying something really fun to me, which is trying to customize my desktop. Yeah, configure with Quickshell. So I want to customize my desktop using something that's called Quickshell, which I used to do something like that, which is extremely fucking sweet. And I want to set that up. So I'm just learning, basically. So I'm fucking around with that. Never used QML in my life, but we're trying. So yeah, we're trying. So remember that. Okay, so now you find the time. So okay, so it needs to be next to each other. I don't like that. I don't like being told how I should set up my my directories. That's annoying. Yeah, it seems really cool, honestly. What you can configure Quickshell. Yeah, you can. But basically it's just a framework to build stuff like that. So you just do it yourself using QML. So this language that you see here that has a lot of warnings that can be ignored because the LSP is weird. But yeah, not my code is not stinky. Or maybe it is, I don't know, but it's apparently this is an issue with the LSP, not something from me, and this is also an issue with the LSP apparently because it finds it. So yeah, whatever. But yeah. So at least I have a date. I have the thing that works. I can give the time. I can show the time. I don't need to make it a clock widget. Now let's see, because I know Quickshell a lot of types, specifically with widgets. So we have Whopper Rectangle. Interesting, Whopper Rectangle. This command is useful for adding a clipping border or background rectangle to a child item. If you don't need clipping, use Whopper Rectangle. Okay. Background rectangle to a child item if you need to clip the child. Okay, so that's the thing. We have notification, we have Ooh, I like that. Wayland that we won't use for the moment. Hyperland we won't be using that because I'm not on Hyperland. Yeah, I mean, it's the start of the thing, you know, but if you want to see code that I'm not too sad about, like I'm pretty proud of, I have some Rust code on my GitHub that you can access on my link tree. Specifically IIO that I use, that I also deployed on XOS recently, by the way. You can have it on XPKG, PKGS technically, but yeah. It's a Rust code that I'm okay with. Same, my code reveal, which is not finished yet, which is an Electron application. I'm okay with the code. It's not perfect, it's not finished, but it's fine. I like it. And then you have my GDScript code that you can find on my streams, because normally I develop video games. I also do the drawing and stuff, but not today. I wanted to fuck around with that. So yeah, we have DBS menu, we have... Okay. I won't be using grid D, but that's cool. We just... Okay, so... Now, maybe I want to see the quick types that we have. God, there's a lot. Canvas, boundary, okay, power animation, there are so many. Oh, shader effect, cool. You can have shaders effect. don't give that to me, I'm gonna have some fun with it. Window tab, window container, okay. Can I have a container that is like a rectangle? What is the default one? I think it's rectangle, right? Oh, you have even matrix values. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Okay. So layout container that's used to arrange items in the user interface. Local storage particles. You have a particle system for human applications. Wow. Okay, that's okay. I'm excited about it. So layout, which is the column layout, layout, okay. Can I find something that's called a rectangle? I think it exists, a rectangle. Rectangle, skewer type QT quick, okay. Paints the field rectangle with optional border. Okay, it's just a paint, okay, pretty easy. Pretty simple. There is item, but then, that's a good question. How do you do that bar around it? Because technically it's not a no, it's a rectangle and then clipping rectangle, because you clip it inside. I think that's what it is. Because if you have a clipping rectangle, this component is so at least Qt 6.7. I hope it works. But yeah. This is a special version of rectangle that clips content inside of its border, including rounded rectangle. It costs more than rectangle, so it should not be used unless you need to clip item inside of it to the border. Content inside of its border, okay. Please content inside of its border. So then can I make that and then having like a fall through of the click? So it's... Because that's also important, like, if I have it, but I can't fall through my click, then I'm fucked. So, I like to have a new thing that we're gonna put in the modules, for me. Bounding box, I'm gonna call that bounding. Okay, bounding box, QML. So, what I want to import Qt Quick. I want to import Quickshell, and now what we want is a rectangle, and inside the rectangle a clipping rectangle. So we want a rectangle. That's gonna be the base one. It's gonna be the root, because the ID is just relative to the file, so I'm okay with that. Do we have an anchor? I think there is anchor. Positioning with anchors. You can define the anchors, okay. So if I do it anchors full screen, is it a possibility to do that, or do I need to do anchors top, left, right, true? Changing anchors. Oh, you can define them as undefined. Ooh, stinky. Okay. So I might just be able to do that, just being anchors. Don't know if it's idiomatic, but we'll do it. Top true, bottom true, left true, and right true. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, it's insane that QMLLS just do like remove the file if when you format it. That's insane. But yeah. So we have that, and then I would like a clipping rectangle. So clipping rectangle. Yeah, because you can't import. Right, it's clipping rectangle, right? Oh, no, it's in the Quickshell widget. I'm gonna import both, just so we have it. Quickshell widgets. Yeah, clipping rectangle. So perfect. So special version of rectangle clips the corner inside of its border. So we can have the radius of all corner default to 0. Oh yeah, of course I want. No, I don't want radius for that, but I want radius for this one. So let's just do a radius. Radius is a real number. Let's consider it as pixels, so we're gonna do 20. It's a bit big, but we'll see what it means in a minute. Data, clipping rectangle, content item. The item containing the rectangle content, there is usually no reason to use this directly, so it's read only. Color. Oh yeah, I didn't define the color, but I'll change that later. Bottom left radius, border. We don't want the border. Okay. Anti-aliasing makes sense. Children, visual children of the clipping rectangle. One item, list item, okay. Content in the border. The content should be displayed underneath the border. Default to false. Does not think the border is opaque. Bottom right radius. So just like that. Do I need to anchor it then? Because it should be anchors. But then I want it to have margins, right? Like if I anchor it the same way I anchor it, I anchored the first one, which makes sense, you know. Oops, sorry. If I anchor it, then what I want is I want to have margins. Do you have a margin container? Or does rectangles have margins? That would be interesting. Do you need a container? Do you need positioning with anchors? Maybe, actually. And so apparently there is margins. Anchor margins and offset, okay. Anchors left margins. Bottom margins. Margins specify the same margins value for all four edges. Ooh, that's cool. So I can have a margin. So margins, let's say a 20 pixel margin. I assume it's pixel. I don't know. But we're gonna try. So this is the bounding box. Now, if we want the shell QML. So all of that is not useful. Or maybe the variant is useful, but that's it. Okay, and so we have the panel window that anchors to everything. Okay, no, that should anchor to everything. So I should have this here, and then oh yeah, and then you down, up, and up, just so everything is connected. So normally it encompasses the entire screen. That's what I want. And what it should have is not text. What it should have, so implicit 8, I don't care. What it should have though is my friend, the bounding box. That I could have made differently. But then I can actually import it being modules bounding box. So now I have a bounding box. It has nothing, it's just a bounding box with nothing inside. So should be working. Bounding box is not a type. Wow. So cool. Modules. Okay. Modules bounding box. I mean, should I actually make it as a panel window? Because you have to do, yeah, no, it has to do that. I could make it variants, but what? It doesn't change anything, honestly. Should I scope it then? Is that how you should do it? Do you scope it? I will be able to make the first, then it's gonna be a breeze. That's not what I wanted. I want the introduction again. So reusable component. No, because scope is for things outside of the... Yeah, it's just give the same scope. Makes sense. So now multiple files. Bar.qml and scope bar. Does it need to be in a scope? That's the thing. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna make it in a scope. I don't see why. Like, scope, and then you have to scope it again. That's that. You know what? Let's try that. Let's try to scope it. Maybe that will actually serve a purpose. I have no idea. Binding box is... Hey, you don't want to see the binding box. That's funny to me. Aha, I'm laughing, as you can tell. If I import the modules directly, would that work? How do you do import? When user use root import for in the form, import root path to module. There are no Quickshell features that will be break the SP and second. Keep them in mind if you decide to use them. Replacement. Okay. Still, I want to be able to import stuff. Manual import, import module as namespace, import directory as namespace. Relative import statement looks like that. A Quickshell module import is a path to the directory to import relative to the folder shell. Oh, that's how we do that. That makes more sense. So something like that, apparently. Or you don't need that. Apparently you don't need that. The path is a path to the directory to import relative to the folder shell.qml is in. QS can be used to import the shell root folder. Dotted path can be used to access nested subfolder. Okay. To import the type from a module under. Okay. Caused by add module value property assignment anchors in read-only property. We're getting there. Now we have another problem. Because my bounding box is wrong. Anchors is a read-only property. Damn. Damn, if anchors is a read-only property, that's gonna be an issue. But you're sure about that? Because I... Oh. Fuck. Hold on. Let me open the connection. You sure about that? Because I'm sure in the introduction I've seen... Yes, I've seen that. But it was on a thing that's called panel window, so it's something from Quickshell. Which means... Might not be something from Quickshell after all. Or do I need to do it one by one? I need to do it one by one, that's gonna be such a fun. I have to do it one by one. For the rectangles and stuff. Ah, because it's read-only. My... Okay then, okay, you know what? Fine. That's not what I wanted to do. Hold on. That's not what I wanted to do again. Alright, encores. Can assign it to all of type bool, so we need to set actual stuff for the encores. So... Can I anchor it to be the full... the full size? I think I don't need to anchor it. If I don't, it's just in the middle, right? So if I do that, then I just need the margin here for the anchors. It's in my way, but maybe it works. Okay. So, to a certain degree, it did work. As you can see, that's white. But it doesn't do what I want it to do. Because it seems to me, no, even then, because this is you can see that because it's a reserve area on the compositor, so of course you don't see that. Oops, sorry, you don't see it. But when I open it, this one, it makes that. I'm sorry for also people in like a dark room, you're gonna die. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna change that fast, so it's not awful. Can I change the color? Or the fill maybe? For a rectangle type? Oh, you can just define the color. Let's define a color that is a bit less awful for people. Just so if I do that, no. Apparently, no. Colors, is it a special type? Apparently, no. Oh, no, actually, yeah, no, I can actually use hexadecimal for that. But you know what? I'm just gonna use black. Just so it's easier for your eyes and for mine as well. It still doesn't want to play 9. Yeah, I'm sorry for the flashbangs, I'm trying. And hi, by the way. Thanks for coming by. But yeah, I'm sorry for the flashbangs, that's not... I'm trying to fix that shit. You know what? I'm gonna put the color here. Does it has also a color? I don't know. Fuck me, dude. Like... I'm sorry, people. How do I fix that? Because if it's always like... If it's just always white, like... Okay. For the time being, bear with me, people. Like, turn on the lights in your room while you're watching me. And when I got it done, it will be better. Alright, I don't really have a better solution, I'm sorry. And that's so annoying though. Like... and if I remove the clipping rectangle, just, you know, let's do that. Yeah. Sure. Is it the clipping rectangle? No, okay, my ass. My ass, actually, like... Why the... Is it the color of the scope? Does scope have a color? Like... If it has a color, I'm gonna be mad. Quickshell scope. Do you have a color? No, this does not work for visible items. So I don't need a scope. I just need a rectangle. That would make more sense. Because then I can just do that. Again, this may be white, actually, it doesn't work. Don't know why I put that in the scope, I don't know. Wow, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm telling you to put that in black. Can I create like a rectangle that is black? You know what? I'm gonna try to make it smaller. So for your eyes and mine, because you're not the only one, we can actually have something that is better. So, panel window, which is an import from Quickshell, otherwise it won't work. And it's the panel window, I have that. I know. And I want the anchors, okay. I have that in the shell, right? I have the anchors to be everything. So what we want, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna not put the anchors at all. Just that. And now, let's just remove the panel window. So it's smaller and less aggressive for your eyes. Because I think that's the issue. I really don't want it to be too aggressive. Fuck you. That's annoying then. And if now if I have you like that, you're not doing what I want. If I define you as a panel window then, and then anchor you using that. Oh, that's why, okay. I understand why it wasn't working by the way, but yeah. So if I anchor you correctly, I know type anchors can't be true in Trinity. I know. Let's remove that. It's used but never resolved. Was not found, yeah, because import. Oh, I clicked the wrong button. That's my fault. Sorry. That was something. All right. My bad. Import Quickshell again. So now you can resolve it, and you be able to resolve that. Resolve it is. It still doesn't work. Ah, I'm so sorry. The property holds the color used to fill the rectangle. Default color is white. Yes, I defined the color as black. Border white. Do I need it to be a panel window by default and then define the color of that? I think that's maybe why. Maybe you don't use a rectangle, maybe you use a panel window. It's pretty much Hail Mary. I want to move the ID root to that. Let's define the color to black here and remove that. And would that work? Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Oh, you missed the full flashbangs. That's it. You missed a lot of flashbangs, but yeah. So, I have something. In fact, it's actually really weird. Because in one panel window, I have this black board that you see on this screen, but on my other screen where I have the chat and stuff, I just see the little small rectangle, the white rectangle you see. That's interesting. That's really interesting, and I don't know why. So, at least we have a panel window, and so that's the thing I will have to build things with. The panel window, not the rectangle from Qt Quick. It's something you use in the middle. But that's changed things for me. That's interesting. Alright, but then clipping rectangle, clipping wrapper rectangle, margin wrapper manager. So then how do you use that? This is a special version of rectangle that clips content inside of its border, including rounded rectangles. It costs more than rectangles, so it should not be used unless you need to clip items inside of it to the border. So then it's not, I don't want to clip inside, I want to clip outside, technically. This component is useful for adding a clipping border or background rectangle to a child item. If you don't need clipping, use wrapper rectangle. For adding a clipping border or background rectangle to a child item. Interesting. You should not set item X, Y, item 1, item on the child item as they are used by wrapper item to position it. Instead, use item implicit 1, implicit 8. Oh. Is that my problem? Oh, maybe you need to actually... Okay. Does that mean it should be inside? Maybe that's why. It should be inside. So, if I do that, my question is for the panel window that we have, that we love. Can I have the color transparent? Because here it's black, but can I have it like transparent? Just so... I don't think the color change anything because it clips. So... Panel window, decorationless window attached to a screen edge by anchors. The following snippet create a white bar attached to the bottom of the screen. Left, bottom, right. Okay. Anchor, center, in, parent. Oh, I can do that. But I don't need to do it, right? Though... anchors center in parent. If I do that, it might be centered, but I think by default it's centered. Just putting that doesn't really do something. If the panel should render above on our windows, default to true. So the WLA layer shell, yeah. All anchors are disabled, so blocking the entire thing due to a misconfiguration. No shit, Sherlock. Really? Exclusive zone. The amount of space reserved for the shell layer relative to its anchor. Settings already set extrusion mode to extrusion mode no more. Offset from the side of the screen, okay. Might not be exactly what I want to do, but you know what, let's try. But I think it means... So... It means that if I have... Not that, but I have... in Quickshell widget, the clipping rectangle, which is the thing we're using right now. That clips content inside of its border, including... Clips content inside of its border, so it should be used inside, right? But then it should be the warper rectangle. Clipping warper rectangle, which is the one on top. Or background rectangle to shape if clipping use warper rectangle. Clipping warper rectangle is a margin warper manager based component. Sees documentation for information on our margin and size are calculated. Okay. Unassigned items that are used should... Okay. So I should be doing it like that. Clipping warper rectangle. No. It should still be... yeah, it should still be like that. I have the margins. I'm gonna do margins as one. Yeah, let's try that. If I do that, I still have the small one in the middle. At least it's black, so it's less of an issue for people here, but yeah. I didn't want it to do that, but I'm gonna cheat. That is bad. No, but yeah. I'm gonna cheat just to have just to understand how they do that. That's bad, I know. I deserve nothing but content for that, but yeah. Snap.qml, so I see what they do. Background, drawers, area picker lock. Oh, background because you put it. Oh yeah. Drawers, area picker lock. Pockets, battery monitor, idle monitors. Oh. And so modules background. Okay. So let's see. Background, desktop clock visualizer, wallpaper. US components, okay, so that's how they Pragma behavior component bound. They put that as well. So sure. Loader and synchronous true active source component variants, when execution style window, require priority share scheme on data. Yeah. Action mode ignore. Yeah. Because it's a background. Source component wallpaper ID, visualizer, loader. Anchor right parent right, anchor bottom power bottom, anchor's margin, appearance padding large. Active, config background, desktop clock enabled, asynchronous true, desktop clock document. Okay. That doesn't help me at all. That doesn't help me at all. Maybe it's sidebar then. How do you import the sidebar? Miaris. You don't seem to be importing it from there. You have modules, drawers, background, area pickers, and locks. Drawers are the thing that we use that are cool. So that's the dashboard we know. Session sidebar, I suppose. So then warper maybe. Item, visibility panels, panel state, visible, visible, okay. Transition, loader content. So it's just an item. It's just an item. Activity component uncompleted, active binding, okay. And there are transitions, there are states, I know. So there is the wrapper here, and then the content. It's an item. Look, okay, so that's not what I want. I wonder how you do that. Because background, I see what I want. Oh, maybe not. Shape path. The fuck is a shape path? That's how it does it. I think that's how you do it. The fuck is a shape path? Shape path. Shape path QML type. Cool. Describe a path and a suitability for stroking and filling. I hate my fucking mind, but yeah, shape path. That's actually quite kind of smart. Stroke, okay. Caps. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, you can just draw any kind of shape with that because it's like a SVG. So recover property whopper, property panels, rear rounding of a whopper rounding, panels notifications, white. Oh, because it also, yeah, okay. Because the shape is modified, so it actually gives like new property that are read-only, and they modify if you have notification and stuff. That's how he does it. That's cool. Stroke white -1. You can set that to -1. Interesting. Property also stroke white and set the negative stroking caucus. Okay. So I'm not gonna copy everything here, but we're gonna shamelessly take that. So path align, path arc, path line, path arc, path line. Okay, behavior on fill color, cyanim. Oh yeah. Because you changed the fill color, that's how we changed with yeah, it's a path that you shape, yeah. But basically what it does is that it creates like a line, an arc, a line, an arc, and a line. So yeah. And just use that to utils rounding. Utils rounding? Oh yeah, for the utils. That's born there, so yeah. Just to have like a new arc and stuff. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, it's an okay. Because you do the arc and then you do the line. But then question is, because we have the shape, alright? Shape path, we have path line that we can define. But then what do we have for the path? What do we have? List of all member. Do we have access to that here? No. Isn't what I want. So I need path type, basically. Everything that is a path. Path is VG. Polyline, person, multi-line, path line. Okay, so something like that. Path line. There is path arc here. Path animation, actually. Path cubic. A cubic basic curve, okay. That's why. I was gonna say that's weird. In 2D, having a cube would be weird. Path arc, define an arc with the given radius. And path line is just a line from start to finish. And that's exactly what the person does. Relative X, relative Y. Oh, relative. Relative X, relative Y. Define the endpoint of the line relative to its start. If both relative and absolute end position are specified for a single axis, the relative position will be used. Relative and absolute position can be mixed. For example, it is valid to set relative X and an absolute Y. So using them doesn't change anything, basically. That's what I'm reading. So just one is relative to the start that you define, but the start is here. There is no start. So I suppose, yeah. So I suppose it just functions like as if it was absolute, I suppose, because there is no start. Or maybe where the shape path actually starts. That may be where it actually starts. That makes sense. But I think that's the key to have this this system. Okay. So, but then how does it? Because native rounding, utils rounding, so that's the thing that that shows for the rounding and stuff for the utils. This is useful, but this is not. Yeah. This okay. I know what it is. Here, this is just for example, the dashboards that spawns there or the little drawers there. And the notification, because they can be both together, but only one drawer at a time can be opened. That's why there is only one path arc and one path arc. The rest are just lines. Lines to native rounding, and then to root warper heights, because you have the warper that contains the entire screen. Roll rounding times 2. While rounding, config border rounding. Oh yeah, for the bot. Why? Why do you stop to the bounding times 2? Why is your position on why you stop to the rounding? That's interesting. You stop on the rounding. That makes sense. Okay, but then why? That doesn't make sense. Sorry, to me. Common and uncompleted active queue event. Okay. Visibility panels, read only body props, okay. You think that is productivity? Like, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm working on just changing a perfectly functional configuration. Okay. Like, this is perfectly functional. I don't have to do it. I'm doing it because I want to fuck around with QML. That's pretty much what's happening. I don't think it's pretty productive. It's more like procrastination. You know what? I'm gonna give you that. It's procrastination, but with a side of productivity, so you don't feel that bad. But I should feel bad about it. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah. It's just... I just want to do it, man. I want that configuration, but yeah. I don't want exactly the same, but I want some of it. I really love the little bounding box and stuff. It's so cool. Yeah.
This week was rewind my app 5 times, even though every time I work, but I don't like something about it.
That's pretty relatable. That's pretty relatable. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's relatable. You should not do that, but that's relatable. I mean, it depends if it's just an app for you and it's not like. Or if it's open source and you don't make money on that, yeah, but if you have like deadlines and stuff, usually you make something that works and that is not too bad, and then you modify it later, and by later I mean when people will be able to actually pay you for that. And not gonna happen though. Okay. Source component content, okay, everyone's spending large props, okay, but I'm still, so the warper is there, so you have actually the encore and stuff for parent top, parent bottom, parent left, appearance padding large, okay, bottom margins. Oh, I said bottom. I'm vibing a bit too much with the music, by the way. Okay. So I won't spend too much time on the warper. I understand what it means, but then it actually uses just the root of the rounding, the warper white. So yeah, just the boxer one. Do you really need a warper for that though? I don't think you do, but maybe I'm wrong. I might be completely wrong. But also it means that this shape path should be the only thing that I want. The bounding box should be just that. So let's do it. Let's using a shape path. Shape path. Can you? Oh, there is no connection for that. That's bad. No. Really, I can't. Oh, that's sad. You can't do that. You can't open the code actions and oh, that's sad. That makes me sad. Okay. So let's just keep the colors palette M3 surface. Okay. Ooh, because the palette are actually loaded with the that's interesting. But yeah, we're just gonna do something simple with the fill color. We're gonna go with black because I value your eyes to a certain extent. So yeah, we don't want a clipping rectangle then because we just want a shape basically. And so let's just do it really fucking simple. Let's just do like literally. Let's just do 4 path lines. I don't really see why it would be an issue. So relative x. Why? So okay, it's relative to the start of the thing. Would wiper width. So can I get the implicit width of the wiper? Oh, maybe I don't have a width. Not found on shape path. Oh, this is why you need a wiper. Because you need... Yeah. Because you need something that... You need actual, like... You need the actual position. Also, it's interesting. So, relative y was 0. Let's say relative x of 100. I want to see how that looks. That's the first thing, and then we'll move on. I don't see it. I'm not even joking, I don't see it. Oh, because the stroke weight is -1. That may be why. No, it's not even -1. Okay. I don't see it though. Do you need to load that into a panel? So it's visible with a... Yeah, you know what? Let's just do a stroke width of 16 because it seems to be big. And then we're gonna try again. I still don't see it. So we have an issue. I made it in relative, which is, yeah, not here. But not here. Let's do it in pure absolute. Yeah, maybe something like that would be a bit better. You're supposed to put that 0 on the screen and then 100. Let's say we move you to 100, 100. I don't know if it corresponds to pixel again. Damn, I don't see you. Is it on my other screen? No. That's interesting. Wait. Wait, hold on. Let me do it in white. I know. But let me do it in white. No, I don't see it. Now that's interesting. The path is not shown. So there is nothing in that. I don't see the line, I don't see anything. So then, if I took the warper here, that we have, which is a bit weird. Probably mirror, okay. Visible width, yeah, implicit width 0. State visible, okay, sidebar, transition, roller. Oh, because you can define, okay, you can define if you want to see it or not, I don't care. But okay. It will be by default. In my case. But then the warper is the first thing you load, right? In the shell. Background, drawers, area picker. So I suppose it starts on backgrounds. Area picker lock. Or area picker maybe. Area picker. Just screen metadata, name area picker, extrusion mode, region ID, empty, picker, and so use IPC handler. Okay, open freeze. Oh no, it's no. Oh, it's okay, no, it's for the screenshots. So you can actually screenshot that in Hyperland. My bad. Yeah, it's a screenshot for Hyperland, I suppose. Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah. Wow. That's a complex stuff. All that in nearly pure QML, that's insane. This person is good. This is something you can remove that. But yeah, so it's just a screenshot picker. I don't care. Neri already comes with one, so I don't need that. So that's the thing. So this is not something I want, but then it's background. And background.qml, which is that. Source component variant Quickshell style window. Desktop clock if you want a desktop clock. There's a lot. Quickshell screens, okay. So source component, so in the loader, which is something from Quickshell, I suppose. Visualizer. Loader, source component multi effect, no item. Repeater, rectangle, and stuff. So I don't see that. There is a clipping rectangle here. But then in the sidebar, you have the native action, content stuff, things that I will have to actually implement. But background here. Which is the shape that we know. Content. Column layout, style, so that's not something I want. Native props, warper. This is the only thing, so it's warper. I might miss what is a loader then. It's in Quickshell, I suppose. I have lazy loader. I don't seem to have a loader. Is it in IO? No, so this is not a Quickshell type. Interestingly enough. So if it's not a Quickshell type, I suppose it's a Qt type. Pretty quick. Loader. Loader is used to dynamically load QML components. Loader can load a QML file using a source property or a component object using source component property. It is used for dealing the creation of a component until it is required. For example, but the component should be created on demand, or when a component should not be created unnecessarily for performance reasons. Yeah, when you hear that song, that's a fucking incredible song. Sorry. But yeah, okay, that makes sense. Uncompleted menu, bind the thing and stuff, and config sidebar enabled, okay. Source component content. Source component content. So that's that. Everybody visible, column layout, style rec. Appearance running normal. Okay, this is something you have in your config. Color is T palette. Okay. Not if doc. Style rec. And what the fuck is a style rec? That's something you have imported, right? That's something you made. That's something you made up. Style rec, right? Yeah, that's something either from Qt Quickshell or for something else. Shell screen, shell root that I'm using at the moment, by the way. Yeah. But that's something they made. That's something they made. Style rec is something I'm sure I've seen it. Utilities. Source, background, content. Let's see. The easiest way. Components direct. Easy. Rectangle color, choose a behavior on color. See. Wow. 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 Yeah, okay. So it's just a rectangle. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's just a rectangle. But okay. Interesting. Interesting enough. So then when you have the warper has content that is loaded by the content document here. That is just direct, which is a layout, top margin, appearance, okay, layout, film weight, true, which is the next color palette, okay. And color was direct, appearance surrounding normal. What does that correspond to? I don't think that corresponds to the bar around it. I don't think that do. I might be wrong. Yet again, it doesn't help that I'm actually trying to learn QML as well as recreating something complicated that I thought would be easy because it's always like that. So, Color layouts, direct. My ass, I guess. Wow. So if it is the sidebars again, sidebar, not the warper, but the background. Is it really a background though? What does the naming doesn't help? The naming doesn't help. Because I see the background, I see the notification, I see that. The naming doesn't help me. And this is not my code base, it's also even harder to actually know. Because the background is just went like 10 times. You load the content, source content, which is the content that you get there. Content being the two rectangles that are column layouts in an item. Recovery props, property visibilities. But this is the only thing you're doing. With two style rect, which is just rectangles with just like when the field changes, you just anim that. That's the thing. So maybe I don't need the shape path. Oh, yeah, why have a fill color white again? It's just no. Okay. So if that is the thing, then something that I can do is, instead of using shapes like I'm using here, which should be good, but whatever, we want the layouts. So interestingly enough, ID roots, I don't need props. Column layout, which is just a specific layout. Anchors, fill parent, so it just completely fill the parent, makes sense. Spacing, I'm not going to change that. We want a rectangle. The rectangle would be a layout. Fill white true and fill height true. Okay, so it's just the rectangle is big. A radius, let's just find 10. Then we'll do configuration later. Color, let's do black because I value your eyes again. So yeah, native doc, I'm not using that because I see what it is. And then you have another rectangle. So just trying that. Another rectangle, layout top margin, which is padding large, layout spacing. Interesting. I'm just gonna do a layout fill width just to be simple. So this is just the width, implicit 8 of 1. And the color, we're gonna try you. Yeah, I'm not gonna ruin your eyes again. Let's just do gray. That might be better. And now, if I do that, I don't see a difference. That's weird.
I still have my little
Box at the middle, but that's pretty much it. So, almost issues, but isn't resolved. I mean, he is resolved, but fuck you. Because I have QS models. Right. Yeah. QS models. So it's interesting that he doesn't resolve it, but yeah, whatever. Panel window, because body, okay. Can I just change the color? Black, block, black. So then, yeah, at least we have that. So if I make it fill the screen, it's not gonna flashbang you. Yeah. So if I do now encores bottom true, top true, left true, and right true. Normally it does the entire screen. And now it's just a big black square again, so we go back to basics. But now the bounding box, can I have it white and blue? You know what? You're gonna change that to blue. I suppose it's the same color as in CSS, so you can do that. And I don't have a bounding box inside. So this is an interesting thing, because then when you have the component, the warper contain the loader that loads the component here that we have there, which is what we want normally. And then my question is, if you do that, how do you load the sidebar? Where do you load the sidebar? Like QS sidebar, like by side by. Okay, maybe modules sidebar. Import into the panels into the background, so drawers background again. As sidebar. Warper wood panel sidebar, okay. No, I think I'm still making me. Yeah. I think this is not the way I should be doing it. I think my clipping rectangle ID was not a bad idea. He says, with absolutely no fucking idea what he's doing. But yeah. Let's import my friend the Quickshell again. Yeah. Quickshell and Quickshell widgets, I think that's the name. We might want then just a clipping rectangle for the bounding box. Clipping rectangle. One thing that will work. Clipping rectangle can have okay, clipping warper rectangle, but it's not what I want. I want the clipping rectangle. I think it's better. It is. Bottom left radius, the radius of the bottom left corner. Just radius. So let's just do a radius of 20. The color to be transparent. I'm sure transparent is the color. I'll have to check. Children, visual children of the clipping rectangles, but it doesn't have children normally. And can I define your anchors? But at least QT 6.7. That may be why it doesn't. I mean, I'll check after that. What is my my version of Qt? I can have encores, right? Yeah, no. Encores.fill parent.fill. Encores.fill parent, right? That's how you do something with the anchors. I've seen it. I've seen it somewhere. I refuse to believe that I don't see it. It's in the layout. Encores.fill parent. Oh yeah. So now now. Will it flashbang people? No. But it also doesn't work. So, interestingly enough, it still doesn't work. It's still inside the thing, right? Like, I still have the... Like, if I use the clipping rectangle here, that clips the content inside of its border. So it just removes those. Clipping being removing. Maybe I'm wrong. It goes more than the rectangle, I know. So yeah. And I'm surprised. It doesn't work because I don't have the right version of Qt. Then how can I check the Qt version? Qt path version, just to be sure. Okay, no. And this is when you actually have some fun. Check Qt version. You don't say Qt, by the way. I'm just wrong. What version of Qt do I have? Yeah, but I don't have Qt Creator. Qt. Fuck me. Because I'm running on the system, Qt installation. Okay. Qmake. Do you have Qmake? 6.9. So that solves my issue. I know the value. Like it's 6.9, so this works. This is built on top of 6.9, so it works. So okay. So now it just means I'm a dummy and I don't know what I'm doing. That's totally possible. Well, yes, color transparent. Does it need... Do you have a color? Let's try. Wow. Oh! Oh, hold on. It actually does what I want. Okay, so the blue is a bit blue. I'm sorry for that. But it actually does what I want. It's actually inside and it clips. And it has the borders. It actually does what I want. If I'm just gonna keep it like that, but if I put margins, yes, okay. So it's still a clipping rectangle. It gives the vibe that I want. So I have what I okay. But then it doesn't clip to transparency. So it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do without clipping it to transparency because it's on top. It doesn't remove the value. So maybe I'm not using it correctly. Maybe I'm not using it correctly. That might be why. Because now, like, can I change the color to something less aggressive to the eye though? But something that I can check. And you know what? I'm gonna do that. Okay, and then pop. So you have that. Let's try again. Yeah, so it's less aggressive to the eye. You see it, I see it, it's perfect. So yeah. Okay. So it's technically what I want. Be aware that this line here, this my way bar, is technically a reserved space on the compositor. So when way bar will be deactivated, it will take the entire space. That's why. Still, it fits the parent, it do the clipping, but it doesn't actually remove the content inside. So my question is, do I do the old switcheroo? Because then I can just remove that. And do I do the old switcheroo? Like if I do that, I remove that, I want the recover property and stuff like that we want. And then we'd like to have that without this. From clipping rectangle. Component is missing require property model data for clipping rectangle. Component is missing. Could not find property screen. Oh. You can't do that. Oh. Ah, that's yeah. Okay. You can't do it like that. Okay. And how do I fix that? I have to use clipping rectangle here. Interesting. Clipping rectangle. Let's reduce the number of. Yeah. It's a bit too much. Let's reduce the number of tabs. We're just using that. It's gonna be perfect. So. Clipping wrapper rectangle. This component is used for adding clipping borders. Okay. Bring clipping border or background rectangle to a child item. If you don't need clipping, use wrapper rectangle. But it's not exactly what I want. Maybe I actually don't want to do it like that and actually make the shape. But then it needs to be made as a panel in Quickshell. Shell screen. What the fuck is shell screen? Monitor object useful for the monitor of QoS window acquiring information about the monitor. Okay. But this is not something I want. This is something different. Oh, desktop entries. Oh, that's cool. Desktop entries. Index of desktop entries according to desktop specification primarily useful for looking up icons and metadata from an ID, as there is currently no mechanism for usage-based sorting of entries other than launcher niceties. Well, I'm finding things that I can use for what I want to do, but yeah. Pop-up anchor, pop-up window. So pop-up window. We don't want pop-up window for the moment. System clock, which is a view into the system clock. It updates at hour, minutes, or second interval depending on the precision. So that's perfect. Region. To apply on top of its region. Region can be nested to create more complex region. For example, region. Okay, that doesn't help me. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. It doesn't help me, but whatever. Region shape. Cool. Rect or ellipse. That's sweet. Thank you for that as well. Yeah. Okay. Lazy loader, intersection, floating window, exclusion color quantizer. Oh. And here I thought I would have to re-implement that. Cool. I don't have to re-implement the quantizer. That's cool. That's cool because I was thinking of making it like I wanted the same thing that you like the shell changing its color depending on the wallpaper. I wanted that. That was my fun. And yeah. Cool. I don't need that. That's perfect. Quickshell settings, region, reloadable, retainable, system clock, transform watcher. Okay. So still doesn't help me for what I'm looking for, which is quite sad. Okay. Flipping rectangle gives me something, but I don't think I need to do it like that. I think I will have to do the shape path. Path polyline. Path rectangle. Oh. Eventually we should only run the corner. Yeah, okay. Path polyline. Defines a polyline through a list of coordinates. Oh, pom. Okay. I could do that. Okay. I could do that. Objectively. Shape path, so that's the thing. Yeah. So a shape contains one or more shape element, at least one shape path. Question is, can I define a shape path here? So, okay, let's just remove that for the bounding box, I know. Then let's do a shape path again, just to see if I can make it inside the panel. Qt quick shapes. So shape path again. So stroke color black. Okay. That's one thing, I guess. Stroke white, we're just gonna do that for the test, of course. 16. I mean, oh no, maybe not black, but this color, I think. So up, and up. Right. So stroke white, fill color transparent. Oh, because if you do a path, it actually, okay. Transparent, that's interesting. Really now? Doesn't work if I import Qt Quick Shapes? Import Qt Quick Shapes. Okay, no. Okay. Okay. Oh, I need a starting point. This is why it doesn't work. That's why it was relative. Okay. Start X at 0. Start Y at 0. I don't know if it's the top of the screen or if it's the middle of the screen, by the way. So we're gonna try that. So pass line X or relative X 10 and relative Y 10. And then we copy that and we're gonna do something funny, which is that. Okay. And I don't see the thing. So that's interesting. I don't see it. The path line is not defined. There is a stroke color, there is a fill color, but I don't see the path. Do I need to define the cap style as well? Square cap, so no, I don't too. Dash offset, dash pattern, fill color. Property was the fill color. When set to transparent, no filling occurs. The default value is white. Fill gradient, fill item. Item to use as fill by the shape. Oh. Okay. But then I'm surprised that I actually don't see it inside the shell. Because I have it there, and inside the panel window, I have a bounding box. So the panel window takes the entire space. But then it doesn't seem to start. Should I define a start that is there? And then try it again? No. This is kind of interesting. Knowing that my shape path doesn't work. I like to be able to make that fucking... At least won't be good, might have to change, but at least I wanted to be able to make the box I have in mind. This is hard. This is hard. Being able to make the box is pretty much the cornerstone of what I want to do. If it doesn't work, then yeah. Then that's an issue. See, I still want to make this box. I want that box to work, but I'm sure I'm missing something, that's for sure. Warper item. What the fuck is a warper item? This component is useful when you need to warp a single component in an item or give a single component a margin. For positioning multiple items, warper item, margin 10, text, okay. Okay, that's pretty easy. Cool. Margin warper, warper manager, warper manager. Which alternative should be its visual child and expose this for further operation? Can I clip the value? This is a special version of rectangle that clips content inside of its border, including rounded rectangles. It costs more than rectangle. I'm surprised that what I made doesn't work. Like, because if we go, maybe. Yeah, let's just do that, and let's get back that with that and that. Because if you go back to that, technically speaking, we have what I'm looking for, somewhat. It's not incredible, but what I want is this rectangle that is supposed to be a clipping rectangle. I want it to be transparent so I can see the inside of the screen, like the other side of the screen. I just want it to be the border. Also, the margin are a bit too big, but yeah, you know. So I want something like that. So, clipping rectangle, which is something that we can use. Clipping warper rectangle, which is this component is useful for adding a clipping border or background rectangle to a child item. If you don't need clipping, use warper rectangle. But I can't use a clipping warper rectangle on a panel. That's the thing. And if I change the fill to transparent, then it also doesn't work. Yes, I do. You can do that. As you can see, it works with Neri. It's really, really useful. Not all the. I don't think every finger touchpad has been made, but you have. I also think you have the touch screen, but I'm not sure. Let me check just for you. I can check. You have gestures here. So this is the thing I'm using is called Neri. Really cool. But let me check just for a moment. So configuration, so usage. Do you have gestures? Configuration otherwise, which is gestures, okay. There's a config contains gesture settings, so yeah. You have the drag and drop for moving stuff, so I could drag them and drop them with you have the corners. And you have the basic gestures that you can't change. Interactive resize with a window, that, yeah, what you have. For the touchpad, you have workspace switch, horizontal view movement, open and close the overview, things like that. So yeah. No problem. Anyway. I still want to clip that. And if I remove the color to be transparent? No, because I don't know. Like, this is not something I want then. How does they do that? Like the little border. I can't reason about the code here. And it would be easier if I know what the fuck I was doing, but yeah. Window for it's the sidebar, that's for sure. That's annoying. That's really annoying. Background, okay, so that's content. Content is, I don't know, the content. Continuous direct with all of that, so yeah, okay. But then they configure them on coffee parents. Where do you use the content? The thing is, it's always changed. It's always an issue. Loader, you load the content here. You have the parent top and bottom parent left. On course margin, plus margin, okay. Active true. Component uncompleted. Root visible sidebar, A sidebar, ooh, okay. Source component content. Implicit white, which is white for the sidebar or size white. But this is the middle thing. This is the content. But what do you have a color? Why do you have a color? That's interesting. And then you have the wobber here that I've seen there, and then you have the sidebars. Sidebars being just the background, in my case. Being just path line, path arc, path line, path arc, path line. A shape path. Where do you use the background? Do you use the background in the content? No. Notif doc, notif so props. Warper, do you use the background in the warper? No, because using the content. So where is the background used? That's maybe the issue. In content, you know the background again. I'm just gonna check again because maybe I missed it. No, I did not. So there is no background. So then, how do you import that? Do you import that from the background? You're not using sidebar here. So I don't see you using background here. That's for sure. So, session warper. Other content, something that you get from component and config. QS components. QS components. Oh, because you have module, but you have components as well. Oh. Okay. Oh wow, that's a lot. Okay. Okay. Maybe in the drawers then. No, because you have backgrounds.qml. So QMS module sidebar as sidebar. ID sidebar warper root panel sidebars. Root panels sidebar. So root panels sidebar. So you give a panel. Panels root panel start X root right, root panels notification height. So you pass the panels and you have panels that are defined here for the drawers. The panels.qml is this one. OSD warper, notification warper, session of warper, launcher of warper, dashboard of warper, bar pop out, utils warper, toast. Okay. And so already panels, so that's all the panels you have. Okay. That doesn't help me at all. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I still want... Is there another way I can make that then? Because I see kind of what they're doing, but then I don't actually understand what I'm making. So my question would be, either way I can just make that border, the weird border rectangle, using something a bit simpler. I thought it would be easy. Boy, was I wrong. Okay, so in terms of the position, yeah. So there is the panel window, I think, and there is the normal window, right? Panel window and floating window. So not a operating system window that looks like any other application. We don't want that. So it's a panel window, so we want a layer. So that's what we want. So then, if you are okay, maybe if I put you transparent, would you... No, okay, so you're just not giving me what I want. But then maybe I'm not using the clipping rectangle correctly. Maybe I'm not using the rectangle correctly. If I create just a rectangle, let's try that. Let's just create a rectangle that we want to be implicit 820 and implicit white 20 of color white. I don't think it's gonna be too flashbangy for you people, so normally okay. We don't want the anchors, I don't care, anchors margin, whatever. Oh, it clips its content. Yes, I'm a dumbass. It's the content that's clipped. So this is not what I want. What I want? Okay. Okay, so this is not yeah, it clips the content outside of it, yeah. So as you can see, here we have the white rectangle that I made, and it's, maybe you don't know, I don't see it, but it's clipped by the rectangle, but this is, okay. That is just me being a dumbass. Okay, but then, it means that it's not what I want to do at all. So I do need another solution. Clipping warp a rectangle. This command is used for adding a clipping border or background rectangle to a child item. Command is used for adding a border or background rectangle to a child item if you need. Okay. But then, this is the content. I don't want it like that. What I would like to do... but no. This is annoying. And I don't want to give up. So... we're gonna be here for a while. I mean, at least. This that would be entertaining, I suppose. But yeah. Pathlight. Oh, but that may be why my shape was not... No, it was not using the clipping. Yeah, it was not using the clipping rectangle. Yeah, no. I'm just gonna do that because why not? And just yeah, I know you can't find cutie quick shapes. No, you can. I still don't see it, so that's perfect, I guess. I don't understand why I can't create the shape though. Do I need to anchor you? Anchors fill parent. Is it possible? Unqualified access to parent in the member parent element. You can qualify the access with this ID to avoid that. Okay, but yeah. Non-favorability fill. Because we don't favorability anchors. So I think there is no anchors for that. Rules associated with the shape. What? Oh! Why didn't I fucking read? I hate my life so much. Okay. Once associated with a shape. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. No shit, Sherlock, that makes sense. Yeah. Once associated with this, yeah. That makes sense. Fuck me, dude. Okay. And course. Enter in. The parents. Okay. And now it's okay. And now we can actually define the white and the... sorry. I don't need to translate that. Okay. Okay. Fuck me, dude. Yeah, we have the what? Oh, fuck. Okay. Sorry, I had to quit the leash because I'm a little oopsie. Little. Just... Peak programming experience there, huh? Yeah. Such a moron. Okay, it's fine. But anchor set on in parent, it doesn't work. Oh, because it's set on the rectangle. That is why. That is probably why. If I do that, that might be the difference between that. Stroke color, we want it to be white again. Just wow. Wow. I have a shape. Wow. Isn't that cool? Wow. We have a shape. How cool is that? Yeah. It's a shape. No, seriously, actually, I'm happy with that because I have the shape now. Okay. So that works. So I can define a shape. Okay. I can define the shape. But then, sidebar content. Okay, and then we have like the wallpaper. Maybe not the wallpaper, but the background. Shape path. That's it. Shape path, and then you don't use it anywhere. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how to do that there, but fine. At least we have a shape now. Would that be useful for what I want to do? Probably not. Or... Nah. I mean, I have an idea. But this idea is not... It stinks. Just by virtue of the fact that I think it's not good. Why? What I want to do... So the idea I have in my head right now... And maybe it's a really terrible idea. I create a pattern here. 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 So I have 4 panels that I can actually use, that I can put items in there and create the drawers that I want and stuff. And what I do is I create small shapes here for the rounded corners. So I just create an arc, like 4 arcs. And I use that. I put them under the panel in terms of z-index. I don't know if you can define a z-index in QML, but I'm sure you do. I don't know how, but I'm sure there is a solution for that. And so the arc is always created. It creates what I want, and it looks good. Do I think it's a good idea? No, I think it's pretty damn stupid and not robust at all. This is my first... I don't think it's a good idea, but if I can make that, I actually have something I want to use. So we're gonna try to do it. We want an item. We're gonna use all of those. Maybe not the widgets, that's for sure, but we'll use the rest. I think that's a solution that can work. Will it work? Good. I have no idea. But yeah. I want Quickshell. That's for sure. So I want Quickshell. I then want a panel window. I think that's the name, right? Panel window, yeah. Panel window. So we want like 4 panel window. Do I need to make it a variant for the panel window? I think I will have to, but for the moment we'll just do it panel window simple. And we want 4. I already regretting the decision, but yeah. Anchors, we want it to be top true, left true, right true. So this one will be the top panel. Okay. This one will be the bottom panel. And then this one will be... So bottom true, top true, and right true. So this one will be the right. I'm just gonna do that. Bottom. And then the left. So bottom, top, right. Bottom, top, left. Okay. So that makes sense. We might want to color these black, because otherwise, damn, that's gonna be an issue in terms of light for my poor little viewers. And now, excellent question. Now that we have that, do I need an implicit height? I think I do, right? So let's just define an height. So how do you define a property again? Require property var model, yeah. So I can do read only property var height until 10. So panel height, I think. Panel height is gonna say 10 or 30. 10 is fine. So now we want that to be the root, so we can actually use that for the implicit height being root panel height. Easy. So I can keep it and not change it. It's a bit naive, but I don't think it's an issue. And now I'm not using Qt shape, but that's fine. Now I want not that as a panel window, but as a bounding box. Because I'm using that, and I don't want the variants and stuff, just so it's easier. I think I'm just gonna put the bounding box like that. So to a certain extent, we have what I wanted. As you can see, technically it's not incredible, because I also need the white. That's why I also need the white up. I also need the white here. So I need read only panel height and panel width. We're just gonna change those to 20, so 20 pixels seems okay. And then we want, so implicit height. I'm just gonna copy paste that, just like that. And now let's just do height. We want it to be white, and then I can do here a replace, a replace, and a replace. Perfect. It's gonna be better if I was using LX correctly, but that's fine. So more or less, I guess. I think I can make them white. You won't hate me. I think. Yeah. So that creates the box in a way that I want. It's not perfect though. It actually, it's actually interesting how weird it looks. That's interesting, actually. Because then... What's that weird? That's interesting. Is it because the anchors is like that, or is it because of the panel or the implicit width? Oh, yo, because I'm using because I'm using root.implicit when it should be root.panel. This is why. Okay, so now we have something that looks palatable. As you can see. So we have something that is pretty much what I was looking for. To a certain extent. Not that bad, but okay. Now, if I want the rounded one, I might need to have a shape in that. Yeah. Also, let's change this 20 to 10. No. This 20 to 10. Okay. And now I want a shape that connects. So that's the moment of truth, technically. We want a shape arc. Shape path, shape.qml. So shape contains a shape path. So shape, which is usually anchors dot fill parent, because you need to fill the entire parent, which is the item that does everything. That's the first thing we want. Then we want a shape path, of course. And then in the shape path, what we want is we will want no fill. So fill color will be transparent. The stroke width will be, I don't know, 10. I have no idea. We'll change that later. You know what? I'm gonna do 5. You know what? I'm gonna do root.panel height divided by 2. So then it exists. So yeah. Stroke style. We don't want that. We want path lines though. So we want path line or path arc actually. And then I need to define my path arc. I need 4 arcs. Or do I? I don't think I do. I can make just a full circle. And then the edges. Yeah, I can. Ah, yeah, I can do that actually. I might be able to do that. Path arc. Start X, start Y. So... Oh, path. Yeah, I need to... Path arc provides a simple way to specify an arc that ends at a given position and use the specified radius. It is modeled after the SVG elliptical arc command. Okay. So then shape path in that case. Yeah, a circle could be done with 2 arc. You're right. You're right. 2 arc actually makes more sense. Yeah. Thank you. I mean, to be fair though, here they only use 1 arc. As you can see. But it's not a full circle. Maybe why. Yeah. Yeah. So 2 arcs, path arc. I need a path. Why do I need a path? Why do you use a path? I don't see you using a path because I use a shape path, so okay. Because there is shape path, so I don't need that. Reason project is going to do stroking and filling parameters. Okay, so it's okay, it's exactly the same. So that makes sense. So we want 2 arc. And we want a start for the shape path. So let's consider it starting start X at 0 and start Y at 0. Makes sense to me. And then we want an arc. So in that case, can I have access to the white and 8? Yeah, I think I do. I can do roots. So if you start at 0, but then I want you to fill the 4. So root height. Right? Yeah, I need something like that. Then I need a radius. So 100 seems to be okay because, yeah, I think it's okay. 100 radius. That is why use large arc. What the fuck is use large arc? Whether to use a large arc as defined by the arc points. Oh. 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 That's interesting. Okay, so either you do the big one or the small one. So I could make 4 path arc and use the small one, or I could use the big one. And yeah, let's do for the moment let's do without it, just to see how does that look. And I can't see the arc. That is a problem. I can't see the arc. Oh. So nothing is created. Apparently. Fill color, but maybe I didn't define a stroke color. That's maybe why. Let's do it black. That's maybe why I don't see it. And I still don't see it. Okay, but it's still in a shape, right? I put that in a shape. On-course fill parent. But you're not in the panel. That makes sense. No. I mean, technically, yes, it makes sense. So, it means that... Oh, wow, yeah. So, yeah, okay. You're not in a panel, so you don't show. So you need to be into a panel to show. Okay. So if I want to show it, I need to put that in at least the panel window. Otherwise, it doesn't work. Interesting. Interesting. How do I go about that? I'm gonna do a bit more tries and then I'm gonna call it a day. Because it was a learning experience, it was interesting. We didn't do much, but I learned some stuff. That's already nice. But I still want to try some stuff before I leave. So stay with me for the moment. Don't leave me, or I'm gonna cry. Oh, maybe because, okay, the stroke wide, I'm using something that maybe it's an issue. Maybe it's too small. Okay. No, I don't see it. So, If I fill it, you know what? Let's fill it with black. Let's see what it looks like when it's filled. And it looks like nothing. So it needs to be inside. Okay, it needs to be inside the panel window. So then, if it needs to be inside the panel window, how do I do that? It means I need to put somehow a panel that doesn't reserve a space. Because it's also the thing, like it should not reserve a space. It should be the middle panel, not reserving a space. Because that's the only thing that's shown in Quickshell. It's the thing on panels. So the out border should be. So the border should be reserved. That's normal. You should have that. But then the rest should not be reserved. Otherwise, it makes a problem, of course. But then if I want to have the rounded corner, I can't have that. Because technically it's not in the panel. And if I put a panel, then I need to either put a big panel inside all of those. So in the middle of those four, that takes this... So it needs to... Okay. And it should not... Okay, hold on. Maybe not there. I might have an imperfect solution, that's for sure, but a solution nonetheless. Panel window again. I'd like to get you inside. Thank you. And I'd like to... So I create a panel window. The anchors will be bottom true, top true, left true, and right true. It should be color transparent. Should it preserve? It should not reserve. So I need something that does not reserve, but should also be fall through, like you can click through it. And I think they are by default, they don't grab focus. You can define the margins, that's cool. If the panel should accept keyboard focus, default to false. Okay, exclusive zone, exclusion mode. So, okay. Exclusion mode dot none. Exclusion mode dot none. Okay. Okay. What are the exclusion mode? Respect the exclusion zone over shell layers and optimally set 1. Ignore exclusion zone over the shell layer. You cannot set an exclusion zone in this mode. Okay. Setting this policy sets exclusion mode to exclusion mode normal. Okay, not what I want. I want you to not be exclusive. So exclusion mode would be ignore in my case. I think. We have the shape, we have all that, so that's cool. And I want the margins, and the margins will be top root panel height. Bottom root panel height. Right would be root panel width, and same, but this one will be left. So just the margin makes sense. That's it, right margin, top left, right bottom. Couldn't find property top. Margins is used but is not resolved. You do have a margin though. You do have a property margins. I'm gonna say that it's just not resolved, but it works. We'll see. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's fine. We'll fix that. Anchors full. Okay. And now. So I don't see the difference. Let's try something. I like... Okay. Let me change the color to black. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do that. Or maybe not black, so I can see my shape, because it's also black. But let's select this color and then do it like that. So let's do that. Huh. This is an interesting factor. Oh yeah, because it ignores. It ignores the thing. So it ignores also the panel on top. This is why. This is why when I ignore it actually does that. Okay, okay. So ignoring is not... Okay. So ignoring is not something you want. Because otherwise it doesn't do what I want. So then if I do that... Yeah. So it's in the middle. Okay. So now my question is... If I change the color, so let's say the color now is transparent. If I do that, that doesn't stop me from using the shell. So I can actually do that if I click. But if I click, my click doesn't render because there is a panel, so it's not fall through. It doesn't accept keyboard focus, but it's not fall through. So this is not a permanent solution. This is not a good solution actually, because then it blocks my entire screen. So yeah, because it spawns above window, but it should be spawning above window. So this is not a solution. That's sad. Okay, so I'm gonna scrub that idea. Glad I tried it though. But yeah, I'm gonna scrub that idea. For the moment, let's stick with that. But yeah. It needs to simmer in my mind. I need to spend more time thinking about it. And we've been streaming for 2 hours and 30 minutes. Not 3 minutes and 30 minutes. So it's a good stream. It's a lengthy stream. I think I'm gonna stop there. It was nice. But before you go, don't hesitate to subscribe. I see there are a lot of people coming here from the shorts. Don't hesitate to subscribe. I like that. If you want to see more content like that, whatever that type of content is, by the way. So yeah. On the 31st, same hour as I'm gonna stream, so 7 PM CET, but if you want in your time zone, join the Discord server. The schedule is there, so you have that in your time zone, which is usually useful. I'll be streaming a horror game, of course, because it's Halloween, but the horror game is a mystery until I start the stream. On stream, you will have the Judgment Day, you'll know what it is, but before then, you won't. But I can give you a hint. First, there is like the thumbnail you can see, so you can try to guess what it is. It's blurry, but of course it is, so you can't see correctly what it is. But I can give you also a hint. It's a game that was released in 2013, but was updated, completely overhauled in 2023. So 10 years after its release. And it builds on one of the most prominent creepypasta of its time. If you know, you know. But if you want to know, join me on Friday. And we will see together. I never finished that game. I'm a fucking scaredy cat. So that's gonna be probably an entertaining stream. And I will not, like, some sounds that will come out of my mouth are not normal sounds that I do. Because I'm not scared, usually. So yeah. I'll see you on Friday. Thank you again for staying with me, staying with my bullshit. I'll see you on Friday, and then on Sunday as well, we have another stream, which is a 100 stream. And next week might be a little lower in the stream size because I have exams, so you know. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you on Friday. Have a fantastic evening, people. Bye.